Marie, do you know any good real estate agencies? If you do, I'd be so happy if you'd introduce me.
A real estate agency? I'm sorry, I don't know of any.
Really? Oh, but the company you were working at before you married my son was also involved in property, wasn't it? Then you must know somebody. Can't you introduce me to someone who'd be willing to help me?
I'm afraid my company doesn't deal in property. We just have a child company that is in real estate. My work had nothing to do with real estate, so I really don't know anyone. I'm afraid I don't think I can help you.
Oh, then can't you introduce me to someone from that child company? Even if it's just one agent. You should be allowed a discount if you're from their parent company, shouldn't you? So it would be a great help if you would introduce me to someone.
I don't mean to be rude, but why are you looking for a real estate agency, Charlie? Are you planning on moving house?
I want to buy a house that's big enough for us all to live in. Matthew and I decided that I should move in with you both. I'm looking forward to it, but first I've got to find a place that meets my standards, and it would be wonderful if we could get a discount through your introduction, too.
What? Matthew agreed to that, but I haven't heard anything about that.
Of course you haven't. You don't have any say in the matter. My son and I decided it, so you just have to obey our orders.
But I'm his wife. Don't I deserve to share my opinion on where I want to live? Matthew never even mentioned that he wanted you to move in with us this soon. Why would you talk about something so important without me present?
Why should we have to ask for your permission? We decided it, and that's that. Besides, it's only a matter of course that a mother goes to live with her son and his wife if she's living on her own. It's your duty to take care of me. You should have known that this day would come sooner or later, and that you would both have to take care of me in old age.
Well, yes, I was aware that it would come someday, but I thought that I would have been given some choice in the matter. You didn't even care to ask if I wanted to move house. I'm a part of this family too, so don't I get to have a say? I wish that you would have told me sooner. I think that that's the least you could have done.
Excuse me? You may have been working before you married Matthew, and it seems that you earned quite a salary too, but that means nothing now that you're unemployed. You're worthless. Oh, you're just a parasite eating through my son's salary. You don't have any right to an opinion when you're not the one that's putting food on the table.
I should probably make it clear that I'm not unemployed. I'm not going to the office because I'm taking time to focus on getting pregnant. I still have a position at the company, and I can return whenever I'm ready.
But you don't receive any salary while you're on leave, do you? You're not bringing anything into the house, and you're just lying about doing nothing, aren't you? It would have been better if you were actually pregnant and on paid maternity leave, but you're not, which means that you're unemployed and that you're just an extra weight that my son has to bear. And you're saying that you're focused on getting pregnant, but how long has it been since you went on leave? You haven't gotten pregnant at all.
I'm sorry about that. All I can say is that I'm trying my best. I don't think that it would be this difficult either, but I know that it's no good stressing myself out by giving myself a deadline to be pregnant by.
But if you don't hurry up and get pregnant soon, you'll just have wasted my son's time and money, and your colleagues will just think that you're slacking off. I am doing my best to earn some money by working a part-time job, but look at you. You're nothing. That's why you have no right to complain about what we decide. You're not working, and you have nothing to do all day, so you might as well help us search for a house.
What? You want me to look for a new house for you? I don't know if I can find a house that you'd like.
Yes, of course, we're the ones that will be attending the showings. We can't let you choose a house with your poor taste. But I'm not bothered to deal with all the documents and things, so I'll leave you to find the best real estate agency. You have plenty of time on your hands, so it's the least you can do. Anyway, it's already been decided that I'm going to move in with you two, and nothing will change that. You've got to find us a place where we can all live comfortably. I need a lot of space for all my things, too.
All right. If you're really sure, I'll do my best. I'll ask a friend if they know of any good real estate agencies, but I can't promise that we'll be able to get a discount.
I'm glad to hear that you're willing to help me. I'm leaving it all up to you, Marnie. Don't mess it up. I'll send you a list of all the conditions my son and I have for the new house. There's a lot, but it's very important that you follow every single one. You should be thankful that I'm giving you this task to do. It means that I still think that there's use for you in this house. Otherwise, you're just an unemployed, lazy waste of space in my son's house.
Charlie, did you see the documents I sent you yesterday? Those are all of the properties I think are closest to what you said you were looking for. What do you think?
No, it's no good at all. They're all nowhere near what I want. Have you even looked at them properly? They may be big enough, but the buildings are far too old. Flash floods, earthquakes, typhoons, none of the houses you found will be able to withstand those kinds of disasters. They'll fall apart like a house of cards.
But a lot of the houses I've got here have undergone a lot of renovations. And they're in much better shape than other properties I've looked at.
Even if they've been renovated, they're still old on the inside. The foundation is what's important. I'm not convinced. You'll just have to look for some other properties. Go and find something else and actually read the conditions we've given you.
Okay. Then what about the house we all went to visit the other week? I told the agent that you wanted to put it on hold, but it's already been a while. They came back to me and said that they want us to make a decision about whether we want the house or not. Otherwise, they'll have to put it back on the market.
Tell them that we want to keep it on hold until we find something better.
It's probably best that we don't prolong it. The early bird gets the worm, after all. If we wait for too long, we'll lose the best house we found so far.
Oh, will you just shut up and tell them that they've got to wait? I've had enough of your incessant whining. I don't want to have to compromise when there could be something better. It might be the best property so far, but it's still got a lot of downsides. Its location, for example, it's much too far from the city.
We can't keep the real estate agent waiting for much longer. That's just how searching for property works. The faster we make an offer for the house, the more of an advantage we have.
Then you better hurry up and find a house that matches all the conditions we want and has a great location. Preferably something with a better price on it, too. We don't want to have to pay a fortune after all.
I've been searching every single day these past couple of months, but you've got too many conditions you want to fulfill. You've got to compromise somewhere. Otherwise, you'll just be disappointed by every next best thing, and you'll never find a house you want to buy. And it's hard enough trying to find a place with the space you're looking for.
I wonder if it'll be better to build our own home after all. But if we do that, it'll take far too long before we can move in. We've got to look for the right patch of land for us, too. Oh, just thinking about how long that will take is already exhausting. You've got to find us a house before it's time for me to renew my contract for this apartment I'm currently living in, or I'll have to pay a fortune to cancel the contract if you're too late.
I have a feeling that it'll be much faster to build a new house from scratch if you got that many requests for the house you want. If you can't make up your mind in time, then why don't you just move in with us after ending the contract with your current landlord? We've got a guest room, and there's plenty of room for you here.
Absolutely not. I refuse to live in such a tiny apartment. I can already imagine just how cramped it will be with all three of us there. And I don't want to have to go through moving that frequently in such a short time. It's such an inconvenience. I'll be wasting my money on hiring a moving company to transport all of my things.
Then what do you think about this? You can choose a house you like with the best location, and then just have some renovations done on the aspects of the house you don't really like. If we find something soon, we can have it renovated before we move in, and we'll be in the house faster than it would be to build a brand new one.
Oh, that's a wonderful idea. I didn't think of that. We could do that. Then, all right, I'll compromise on the areas that can be dealt with afterwards with renovations. But, that being said, nothing can be done about houses that are too old and are in a bad location. So I don't plan on compromising on either of those things. I want a house that was built fairly recently, and it's got to be situated in a lovely neighborhood. But I need access to the city.
Of course, I'll keep that in mind. I'll talk to the real estate agent and see if they've got anything in mind. I'll organize all of the information we've got for all of the properties we've looked at up until now, too.
You better get it done quickly. You don't have all the time in the world, you know. If you take your time, someone else will take the perfect property before we even have the chance to view it.
Hi, Charlie. What did you think about the property we saw today? It looks like my husband's taken a liking to it, and I guess we're just waiting for your call. What do you say?
I like it too. I think it's the best property you've presented to us so far. I don't really like the bath and toilet, but we can get that fixed with a remodel, can't we? If we can change that, then I think that I can really see myself living there.
I've already asked the real estate agent about that. He said that the renovation should be done within 2 weeks. We just have to put in an offer down, and we can get started on talking to a renovator about what we want to change.
Well, then it's decided. I want it. You can let the real estate agent know that we're putting out an offer on it.
The only problem is that we're going well over the budget we initially set. Is that okay? Or do you want to find a place that's more within your reach?
Oh, that's fine. You don't have to worry about me. We were planning on making you pay for everything either way.
What?
You've got a mountain of money saved from when you were still single, don't you? My son told me everything. He said you could afford the house and more.
Wait a minute. Are you seriously trying to make me pay for the entire house and renovations all on my own?
Yes, so I don't see what the problem is. You're not employed right now. You're just a useless, unemployed piece of crap. The least you can do is pay for our new house. All you've done up until now is suck my son dry for all the food you eat and the clothes you wear. You owe him this much.
A piece of crap? That's what you think of me? How hard do you think I worked to find a property that you would like? I spent hour after hour on websites, on the phone, looking for the perfect house. I was the middleman between you and the real estate agent, and filled in all of the paperwork, and researched all of the houses that didn't have enough information put up on the websites. You ordered me to look up everything about the houses you liked the look of.
So what? Do you really think that means that you've actually done something for this family? Please, that's not nearly enough. You've got a lot of nerve to think that, Marie. But if you offer to use your savings to pay for the new house, then maybe I'll think about giving you credit for it.
You're kidding, right? That's way too unreasonable. Why do I have to pay for everything alone?
My son was saying that you're a useless wife, too. He complained that you haven't gotten pregnant at all after all this time, and that you're just dead weight because you haven't been working at all.
Did he really say that? I can't believe it. Well, now that I think about it, his attitude towards me has gotten pretty bad over the past few months.
If you want us to accept you into the family, you'll have to hand over your savings. You've got no other choice if you want to be worthy of my son.
How is the new house? It's been a while since you moved in ahead of us. Did you like the bathroom? I hope it turned out the way you wanted.
Oh, it's wonderful. It's so lovely to have so much space. The veranda's so spacious, and there's a lovely view of the city. We get good sunshine for the entire day, too. It's the perfect house to spend the rest of my life in. I don't plan on dying soon, but I'm glad I can spend my final years in such a lovely house.
I'm glad you like it. It was worth all the trouble I went through to have it renovated. And all the time I spent going through all those property sites. For a while, I was actually worried that I would never find the place you wanted, but it looks like we finally made it. I can't wait to start living there too.
Oh, Marie, about that. I don't want you coming here.
Excuse me?
I'm saying that I don't want you coming to this house. It's mine. Oh, but Matthew's coming to move in with me. He's more than welcome to come and stay in this lovely house with me. You're not.
What are you talking about? You can't be serious. We all decided weeks ago that we would move in with you tomorrow. We've already got all of our things packed. My stuff is in those boxes too.
Well, you're not welcome here. There's no place for you in such a beautiful house like this. By the way, there's no use begging my son to side with you. He feels the same way I do about having you here with us. He told me that he can't see himself living happily with you here.
I don't understand what you're saying. What do you mean? Why don't you want me to live with you both?
we decided that it was about time we got rid of the parasite that had latched itself onto my son and chased you out of the house. Matthew's already found another woman who's going to be his wife, and he doesn't need you around anymore. You're just going to be in the way. It means that we have no use for you anymore.
Another woman? Do you mean that he was cheating on me? And you were actually aware of that and didn't tell me?
Aware of it? Oh, Marie, I was the one who told him he should find someone else. I encouraged him.
Why would you do that? If Matthew has some issue with our marriage, he should say it to my face.
What's the point? Saying it won't change anything. You don't work and you can't even get pregnant. We don't need someone like you in our family. My son deserves much more than that. But it would be troublesome for you if we suddenly announced that we were kicking you out, wouldn't it? If you need some time to look for a new job and a new apartment, then we don't mind keeping you on as a maid. What do you think?
Are you really asking me to come work as a maid in the house where you plan to welcome Matthew's wife?
Yes, isn't that kind of us? At least we're not going to kick you out onto the streets. I'll hire you as long as you don't talk to my son ever again. But I'm only willing to pay you $1 an hour. What do you say?
Charlie, do you know what director compensation is?
Huh? What is that? What kind of compensation is that?
You're right that I'm not receiving a salary. At least, not the normal kind. But I'm not unemployed, and I'm not being a parasite. Even though I'm not going to the office every business day, I'm still receiving something called a director compensation.
What? You're getting money from your company even though you're not working? What's that supposed to mean? Why would they do that, even though you're not going to work?
It's actually pretty complicated in reality. But to put things simply, it's compensation that's paid to company officers who are part of the board. I may not be going to the office, but I'm still a part of the board, and therefore, I receive a monthly payment as compensation for my activities as a board member every single month. I still have a lot of work I have to complete from home as a board member. So, like I told you, I'm not unemployed. I believe I told Matthew that I'm working from home sometimes. Didn't he tell you that? If he hasn't told you, then I guess it was too difficult for him to understand. Honestly, why does he think I've been spending so much time in my office when I'm at home?
Wait a minute. I can't keep up with your explanation. You said that it's compensation that company officers receive? Are you telling the truth? Were you really a member of the board this entire time?
That's right, Charlie. Thanks to that, I've been receiving a rather large amount of money every month. I even bought the house you moved into with that money, since I didn't want to use my savings.
What? You managed to afford this house with your director compensation? How much are you getting paid every month?
I don't like to brag, but it's well over $20,000 most months. It's a lot more than what I get paid for my usual salary.
What? You were earning that much and you never said anything to us? You never mentioned getting promoted to a position like that. Since when have you been a part of the board?
I told Matthew a long time ago, but I didn't tell him exactly how much I was earning. I told him that I was earning less on purpose.
Why did you lie to us like that? If you had been more honest about what you were earning, I wouldn't have had to call you out for not working enough. In the first place, you can't hide things from your husband. A marriage should be based on trust, not on deceit.
I had no choice. Matthew had been lying to me about how much he was spending. He has a really bad habit of overspending and using money recklessly. If he knew exactly how much I was saving, he would have been over the moon. And he would have gotten it into his head that he could spend however much he wanted without having to worry about the bills or our loans. That's why I told him that I was earning less than I really was. And I put most of the money into my savings account and into investments I made in the past.
Then you're still earning a fortune even now? While you're on leave? I can't believe it.
You'll just have to believe it. And I don't need the job you're offering me. I'll do fine without the both of you. Oh, and I should thank you for letting me know about Matthew's affair. I'm so grateful that you just put yourself in a very disadvantageous position for my sake. Thank you.
Oh.
If I use his infidelity as a reason for our divorce, then I'll have the advantage when it comes to splitting up our assets. You've probably saved me having to give up part of my savings too. I'm not handing any money over to either of you, including the house you're trying to take from me.
Excuse me? Are you saying that you plan on taking this house for yourself? You can't kick us out. This house is property that belongs to both you and my son. You don't have the right.
I'll be hiring a divorce lawyer to take you both to court. I don't care how much it takes to win this case. You should probably warn his new wife, too. If he thinks that she'll get away with sleeping with my husband, she's got another thing coming. I'll be demanding compensation from her, too.
Marie, I'm so sorry for everything I've said to you up until now. Will you please consider seeing my son and talking over everything? He says that he'll break up with his new wife. Please, will you stay on as my son's wife? We need you in our family. Please.
What? What's with the sudden change of attitude? You were saying the complete opposite just over an hour ago. It sounds like Matthew put me and his lover on scales and decided to keep me instead of her. What a greedy man. I thought he said that I was just a waste of space because I can't have children. But now, he's choosing me? Now that he's finally found out about the money I make?
Oh, that doesn't matter. You don't have to have children to be happy. As long as you're happy together, you can overcome any obstacle. And nowadays, it's not rare for couples to not have any children. Children cost too much money, and it sounds like many couples without children enjoy married life a lot more when they can spend their time and money however they like.
That's not what you were saying before. You were the one who was calling me extra weight for not being able to get pregnant.
I wouldn't have said that if I knew that you were such an important person. I'm so sorry for being so rude to you. I didn't know, I swear. My son's apologizing too. Matthew regrets everything he said about you. But you should have told us if you were earning that much. It's not fair if you were lying to us about your work and about the money you were getting. But anyway, that doesn't matter anymore. What matters is that you are very important to us. I just want us to live happily ever after, that's all. You should come with Matthew, just like we planned, and we'll all live together.
No way. What makes you think that I'm going to forgive you for what you've been saying to me all this time? My husband cheated on me, didn't he? He's got to pay for that. You can't act like it never happened and expect me to join you both. You're both going to pay for how much I suffered the past few months.
It might be hard for you to tell, but we really do regret what we did, Marie. We promise that we won't ever treat you like that ever again. From now on, I promise that I'll show you much more respect. The respect you deserve for earning our family so much money. You're the breadwinner of our family, after all. We wouldn't be able to do anything without you working so hard.
Your family? I'm not earning money for you and Matthew's sake. At least not anymore. Why should I give food and shelter to the people who've been insulting me all this time? I don't owe either of you anything.
What? Oh, we never said that we want you to take care of us. You're not working alone, you know. We'll support you as much as we can. I'm working a part-time job, and Matthew's got his job. I'll make sure to use the money I earn on paying for my own clothes and for my part of the bills, of course.
Oh, really? How am I supposed to believe that after Matthew spent our entire marriage relying on me for all of the bills, groceries, and the rent? He's never helped me pay for anything because he knows that I earn more than enough to cover everything, and has spent his salary on buying everything he wants. He's never had to worry about overspending because he's always been so dependent on me. You say that you're going to pay for everything on your own, but you're just sucking up to me because you want my money, don't you?
What are you talking about? I wouldn't lie to you.
Stop playing stupid, Charlie. I already know that you're deep in debt, and that's why you started that part-time job in the first place.
What? How do you know about that?
I heard about it from a relative of yours when we had a family gathering a while back. They mentioned that your husband had made some investments before he passed away. Your relative told me that they failed, and he ended up owing a fortune.
Well, I didn't think it necessary to tell you up until now, but it's the truth. He was such a foolhardy man, my late husband. Matthew's probably taken after him in that way.
I think Matthew got that from both of you. You and your husband were very similar in that way. I heard that you both had a bad habit of overspending, and that you've ended up shouldering your husband's debt, as well as your own, now that he's gone. That's why you've continued working part-time past retirement age, haven't you?
How troublesome. Oh, I can't believe how chatty my relatives are. To think that they would gossip about me to my own daughter-in-law. But just because you heard it from my relatives first doesn't mean that I was trying to deceive you. I was going to tell you one day, I swear.
I wish you would have said something about your debt before Matthew and I had gotten married. Of course I'd feel like I was being deceived.
Oh, you're so right. I'm so sorry, Marie. I just lost the chance to mention it. It's not a very easy topic to bring up, you know.
Of course it's not easy to bring up. But it's not easy hearing about it from one of your relatives. I felt like I had been tricked from the start, like Matthew had only proposed to me because of your debt. That's why I thought it would be best to hide how much I really earned. After I found out about your debt, I couldn't trust you when it came to money.
Oh, but this is wonderful. Now you know about our debt. We don't have any secrets between us. Now we have nothing to hide between us. We can be a real family again. What do you say? Why don't we make up and be a happy family again?
What happy family? I don't think of either of you as family anymore. Unfortunately for you guys, you're just dead weight to me, and I'm throwing you out. After that, my husband and I got divorced, and I demanded compensation from both Matthew and the woman he was cheating on me with. Because of his affair, I had the bigger advantage when it came down to splitting our assets. Thanks to that, I was able to avoid losing any of my own savings, and I could keep the house that I had spent so much money on. After that, my husband and his mother ended up having to move into a tiny apartment far away from the city, and have been living together ever since. My mother-in-law didn't have any money of her own, and had been spending all of her salary on paying back her debt. So my ex-husband had no choice but to pay for all of the moving fees and for the apartment they were living in. After spending all of our married life being dependent on me for money, my husband finally had to take care of the bills all on his own, and must have realized just how blessed he had been when he was with me. Apparently, they were forced to become extremely frugal and had a budget how much they spent on groceries just to make sure that they could keep on paying the rent. On top of that, he had to continue paying for his parents' debt, and they both ended up suffering in poverty. My husband apparently tried making his mother work more in order to stabilize their financial situation, but as a result, his mother ended up falling ill, and he had to spend a fortune on her treatment. It looks like he got his priorities in the wrong order. As for me, I returned to work and was able to go back to the lifestyle I had when I was single. If getting married means that I have to shoulder that kind of dead weight, then I'd rather spend the rest of my life single.